Whoa, dude, put that away. That's embarrassing. You're just sitting around with your 100 dimension hole energy out like that, dude? Come on, that's disgusting. Let's put it to good use instead. But first, correction begins with education. Why should you farm the dimension hole? Like, at all? Beyond Second Awakening, the dimension hole has loads of benefits. But the one that brings us here today is ancient runes. Ancient runes are like the runes you know and love, but they've got this little shine on the exterior of them. That's it. No. Ancient runes have higher base values than normal runes. So that means that the minimum is higher than your average rune. And the maximum is also higher. So before we take into account gems, grinds, etc., these runes offer the biggest bang for your dimension hole buck. And as you farm, you do have the chance to get both ancient runes as well as the ancient grinds and gems that go along with them. So this is going to be the first of a new series where I show you farmable options for each rune dungeon in the dimension hole. Today we're starting with Karzhan in the Forest of Roaring Beasts. Each dimension has its own restriction, and this one is 4 stars and below only. Now normally that'd be a huge bummer, but some of the best monsters in the game just so happen to be 4 stars or below, so this will be pretty easy. We're gonna start the team off with our leader, Vertihal the Fire Vampire. Vert has come up on the channel a lot recently and across all of time. He has a 28% speed lead in dungeons. He boosts your attack bar by 40% so long as he crits every time he hits. And dude hits like a truck when he's runed on Rage, which is exactly how we're gonna rune him. You'll want Verd built on damage, so 100% crit rate is obviously a must, but as close to 200% crit damage is what you're looking for. I know that's a bit of a huge number, but you know, just do your best, shoot for the moon, and you'll land amongst the stars, or however that goes. Next is Fran the Light Fairy Queen. She is the only thing that resembles any kind of support on the entire team. Because in theory, if the boss is dead, then you don't need to heal. So even though her healing can come into play a little bit, she's predominantly there for her attack buff and immunity. If you've been around the channel for a little while, you'll probably be familiar with how you'll want to rune Fran. And the answer is speed HP. Even though her heals scale with attack, she gives herself an attack buff. So that should be suitable for what we're trying to do here today. Next up, it's Second Awakened Rauk, the Fire Inugami. I've been talking about these dogs so much recently, and they deserve every bit of mentioning they've gotten on the channel. Rauk is here is another primary damage source. He has a team up on skill 2 and a defense break on skill 1. That concludes the reason why you're bringing Rauk. You'll rune him on Violent, probably attack crit damage attack, though I wouldn't fault you if you went speed crit damage attack as well. Like the other members of the team, besides Fran, you're gonna want high crit rate on him. Because just as a reminder too, crit damage is all well and good, but if you don't have enough crit rate, it's a wasted stat. The great thing about Rauk and other units that have team up abilities is they synergize really well with Verd. Because you'll have a chance to proc Verd's passive whenever you pull him, so that means you're gaining significantly more attack bar than you would, and you're already gaining crazy amounts of attack bar before you introduce a team up, So this last slot on the team is the part where you have the biggest amount of choice. For the guide here, I'm gonna offer a few options in the order that I prefer them, and then you're free to choose whoever you'd like. The natural inclination is to throw in Second Awakened Crow, the Dark Inugami. Odds are you already have him built, and new players should have Second Awakened him first. And no surprise, he is amazing here. Turns out a second team up is really valuable. Pair that with another defense break in case Rauk missed, and a brand on skill 3, plus debuff scaling damage. The dude's the GOAT for a reason. Alternatively, if you've happened to pull a Kaki, the Fire Onimusha, he works great in here as well. Kaki's got something that not a lot of 4-star damage dealers have, and that is high damage and high survivability. He heals in his skill 1, applies a defense break, and he also has AoE on skill 2. Kaki is actually one of my favorite damage dealers for this dungeon, if not my favorite. The only reason why I'm listing him second is because I'm not going to sit here and assume that everybody has a Kaki just yet, even though we have had a few events where people can choose in that 4, and we just came out of an event where we got 200 of those 10th anniversary scrolls. So you probably got a Kaki lying around somewhere, but that's not for me to assume. And the last option that we're going to go over today is Second Awakened Spectra. Second Awakened Spectra is a damage dealer, but he's also getting you more turns, but in kind of an inverted way. He's reducing attack bars and applying slows and attack breaks to your enemies, so by reducing their attack bars, are you kind of boosting yours? Maybe. Maybe not? Probably. The only thing I will caution you on here is that Spectra has a crazy high base speed. Now, normally that sentiment is a good thing, but I find that the difficult part of Spectra, especially for new players, is to fight the urge to put him on speed, because you want to make sure that he moves after your defense break, so that way his big damage doesn't go to waste. So if you're using him with the team that I've already listed here, try to make the turn order something like Fran, 2A Rauk, then Spectra. In theory, if you've built the team the way that it's been presented here, you should be able to go all face, just focusing the boss. If you're finding that you're having a little bit of trouble at the beginning, maybe you don't quite have the stats to nuke down the boss at the start, you could always prioritize the Lagmaron and the Teshar in that final phase first. Ideally, you just do Lagmaron and then the face. Face is the place after all. There you go, everybody. So that is a farmable team for the Karzhan level 5. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, or if you have an unusual team. I've seen a few speed teams that are just Astar plus 3 of the dogs. That's Ikaru, Rauk, and Crow. And that sounds awesome. So if you have any speed team recommendations, put them down in the comments too. And I'll see you right back here for the next one. Bye, everybody.